know. So this is a work in progress about that book. And I probably should not start at the beginning. I think I'm going to go to the end. I'm going to go to the end of my presentation. Why? Because I want to show you that when I was talking about this topic at several locations around my state of California and in different places, many people ask this question. They say, you know what, Dr. Perrin, I'm not sure if this is going to work in my country. They say, your idea, this idea, maybe that's not such a good idea for my country. So actually, probably you should think about it a little bit more and look at the research first. So there are successful programs that are done in different parts of the world that are not the US or Australia or Britain that use this concept. So for example, maybe you should just take a look at some of the work already being done in Indonesia with service learning. Or for example, Singapore. This year I was at Thailand VietTesol, and there was a professor doing a service learning session from Singapore. And there was another professor doing a service learning session from Thailand. I worked with a couple of colleagues from Indonesia and colleagues from Qatar and Taiwan. You can't hear me?
Little. I can hear you, but no.
I'll use a microphone. It's not my normal style to use microphone. So these countries have successful research already completed using this idea. So I'm going to ask you to think about it and maybe look in the literature for an example that might be beneficial for you before you just immediately reject the idea and say, oh, it doesn't work. What that's called is called believe it first, don't doubt it first. That's by this guy, Peter Elbow. He's a composition professor. Way back in 1973, he wrote about the topic of believe some ideas first. Why is that important to believe before you doubt? Because you make your world view bigger. You take in more ideas first before you reject new ideas. So, I'm going to go back very quickly to the beginning because this morning was very useful for me to listen to Frederica Stoller because her reading material about oceans of plastic garbage is very important to me because I think this is a topic that I've used very often in my work in TESOL Service Learning, and it was about the idea of beach cleanups. Has anybody ever heard of a beach cleanup? You know, you go to the ocean and you have some volunteers and you pick up the garbage on the beach. This is a great activity to do for language learning. So, you know, you have her reading material ready for you if you wanted to do something like that. So I also wanted to say, has anyone ever heard of this website here, enjoyableenglish.org? Yesterday, 2 students from a local area gave me a gift, and they said, this is our website, and we have our center, our business center in Hue. So this is what we do, enjoyableenglish.org. And I thought, oh, somebody gave me a great idea to talk about in my session. If you think this doesn't work in Vietnam, here's the example. So the title of today's, this conference this week is Empowerment, Engagement, Diversity. This topic of TESOL service learning is specifically about civic engagement. What does it mean to be a good citizen? Not just a citizen of Hue or Vietnam or Southeast Asia, but a citizen of the world, a global citizen who actively participates in a better society. So when I looked at their website, this is enjoyableenglish.org right here, I said, wow, that's exactly what this idea is about. So their mission is here, to create, let me see if I can read it for you, create an inspiring environment for learners to savor the joy of learning to sip a cup of kindness. And so I was very much interested to explore what they did, and I found out these are a group of volunteers who work for this organization to teach English to those who may not have enough money to take a lesson. So they're basically volunteering to do this work. And I think that's a very admirable task because I like to teach and make money. It's nice to have some money to pay your bills. So they have coaches and they have peer leaders that do this work. So the reason I gave you this example is because it's right here in this city, Hue. So it does work in Vietnam. Now, their topic is not really service learning, but they do volunteer work. And I really like this idea, because they're passionate dreamers, compassionate thinkers, and they try to have something to lean into a human being's heart, get them to understand the importance of caring and empathy, and I think that's very important. So, this session is about the idea of VietTesol research is actually starting to include ideas that relate to service learning more and more. How do I know? Because I've been working on this topic for about 20 years now, and I've been writing different articles, and I've been collaborating with people from all over the world. And in the book that will come out later in November, we have 6 chapters. And basically, one of the chapters is about how do you develop a relationship with a nonprofit organization or an NGO. We call these community partners. And then there's another chapter on spoken language, another chapter on literacy, a little bit of information about technology, and of course, who doesn't like to have a test every now and then? It's an assessment. And then there's some information about standards, and standardization and standards for teaching practice is very common in VietTesol. So in every country in the world, there are educational standards, and that's one of the last chapters before we get to the conclusion. So when you're doing these kind of activities with service learning, you often need to just simply start with a syllabus. Well, how do you make a syllabus for service learning? I've got some examples for you right here. On the handout that you have, you see links. So some of the links that I've provided for you are based on previous information created by a university or a government organization. For example, the United States federal government posts some websites where you can find information about this topic. So these are actually listed here as ABC. And in 2013, I wrote an article called Strategic Steps for Successful Service Learning in the VietTesol Journal. And it was a guide for how teachers can get started to use this topic. So that might be a useful resource for you as well. And Brian, could you write the VietTesol, the website that we made in Google for the Vietnam VietTesol resources? So those are some resources for making a lesson plan. Now we want to figure out how to get into specific content or topics of a course. So after you've made your syllabus and you have some resources for finding community partners, what would be your themes? Well, one specific theme could be teaching English, like they do for enjoyableenglish.org. Another theme could be Frederica Stoller's activities in the fluent reading segment that she did today. That's a great topic. Environmentalism and doing something about this ocean garbage problem. So what my students do that's different than just reading about it is first they read about it and then they go do something about it. They actually pick up the garbage. And my city is San Diego, California. We have organizations that ask the students, please count the garbage. So we actually count the garbage. We count cigarette butts, thousands of cigarette butts, not hundreds, thousands. What happens to the cigarette butts? The fish eat them, the birds eat them, and they die. Is that good? No. So when students read about those topics and they go and they pick up the garbage and they count it and they give the report to the government, it becomes more deep for the students. They're like, wow, I did they didn't know all these birds and all these fish were dying from this garbage.